Bleh. Hello, Galaxy. I wasn't blehing you. I'm on decaf. And not as flavorful as calf. Still, going through the motions after dropping the caffeinated beverages, the coffee beverages, about a year ago. And it's sad. It's so sad. It's not great. It's not my favorite even. The Starbucks here. I mean, it's obviously drinkable. I don't mind the bitterness, but it's not my favorite. There's a local coffee place that I usually go to, and for the past couple of days, it's been busy. And I don't know if that's because of fall hitting, and then everyone's going to get their coffee. But I'm a little worried that I won't be able to go the times that I normally have scheduled to get my espresso. 4 shots, decaf espresso. What's the point? I know. Anyway, thank you for setting the notifications. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Good to see you. The Taterful, Ahmed, Nabil, Swavensky, Rawbank954, and Zero Scripts. Hope you're doing well as everybody else who might be lurking during these streams, especially when they happen live at some point on a Pacific Northwest weekend afternoon. Earlier today, I was wrestling with tech. I was getting my my Bamboo X1 Carbon printer set up. I already had one. I had a pre-production unit they sent me, and they wanted to exchange it for an actual like shipping unit, the one that everybody else got, because I feel like there were some things that were different in the one that I had versus the one that everybody else had. They made like all these last minute changes, right? So hopefully, with any luck, that will work. It will be working. Now I say that because I flip over here. This is what's going on. It's working. I'm using the textured PEI plate for the first time. That seems to be working. I'm going to try to avoid the glue stick. What I'm printing right now are risers for the actual printer itself. In using the textured PEI plate, you need to have a bit more airflow because it's going to run differently than the cool plate. So I'm printing an accessory for the printer on the printer that's going to be using the accessory. Does that make sense? It made sense to me. And then up close and in person, I'm printing the remaining parts for a B droid, the B3 EMO from Andor, the new droid. I know you want me to talk about Android. Well, hey, I'm here to talk tech, people, and 3D printing is tech, as evidenced by the most recent short that I uploaded. I wasn't expecting much. I was like, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to get it. But I'm surprised at how many people got the 3D printing humor. So I'm going to be uploading tomorrow another short. It's going to be, even if you don't know anything about 3D printing, the short that I'm going to upload tomorrow here in this tech channel is going to be in the same kind of vein, but you'll understand, you'll get it. It should be humorous, even if you know nothing about 3D printing. It should be funny. That's the goal with these shorts, trying to inject humor, maybe not too much information, but enough out there. Swavensky got his Anycubic Viper set up and looking getting a second higher end printer as well. Oh, nice. I have not had any experience with the Anycubic stuff, at least at this point. I'm not a 3D printer collector. I'm a print collector, right? Constantly printing out figures. Go figure. Chris Pirillo printing Star Wars figures. Has the world gone mad? Well, maybe it has. Nothing wrong with decaf, because I can tell you a good portion of the time you really get a good decaf. You'll not tell the difference flavor-wise. They're identical. You just won't get the buzz. Well, Mike, the decaf I normally have, I feel is closer to that than the espresso I get from Starbucks. But it's kind of like, well, I know it's not going to be the same, but it's still something. Is that weird? I like it either super cold, and it's not iced right now, or like hot. And right now it's in between. It's not lukewarm, it's cold. If Google fixed Pixel 6 issues in Pixel 7, would you choose Pixel 7 over Samsung in One UI? You know, Ahmed, that is a great question, and thank you for asking. I'm glad we were able to get into this. I've been thinking about that, legitimately. Of course, I gave you my first impressions, or initial impressions, right, after watching the very low-key, not to be confused with Loki, low-key presentation that Google gave. You want to talk about people who need caffeine. I think Google's team that produced that event needed caffeine. Or maybe they're on decaf too. I don't know. There's a lot of that going around apparently. I don't know if it would be enough. So when you find yourself ensconced, within the, not necessarily the comfort, but the shortcomings, and you wrap yourself in these experiences that you use, you kind of grow accustomed to it, sure, but you realize, the benefits beyond those drawbacks. And you remember the drawbacks that pushed you away from the other platforms. And unfortunately, even if Google were to mitigate the lag, then I would have another problem. And not just the nav bar. Let's say, for argument's sake, okay, the nav bar didn't bother me as much as it does, and it bothers me a lot. I'd have to use the first-party launcher, because the third-party launcher on any Android device these days, it just feels broken on anything. And I know people are, oh, Nova launcher, use no, and like, no, still broken. It's broken. Action launcher, still broken. There are certain anomalies that pop up that don't pop up when you're using first-party launchers. So I like Samsung's first-party launcher, especially in conjunction with Good Lock. Now, if you have a Samsung device and you're not using Good Lock, you're missing out. It's free in the Samsung Galaxy Store. Download it right away. You will thank me. You will thank me for using Good Lock. You will thank me. It is the tool, a must-use tool for any Samsung device. So I like the Samsung launcher. So I never really bothered with a third-party launcher once I switched over to that. But the Pixel launcher bothers me. It drives me nuts. So I would have to work around it. I don't like the fact that the app drawer itself is largely just alphabetical. That's it. You can't drag and drop into folders. It's just alphabetical. And I understand alphabetical order. It makes sense. But when you start having like 50 apps installed, like it just gets unwieldy fast. And maybe some people think that way. They're thinking alphabetical. But I tend to think like, what am I looking for, and have muscle memory to where that icon happens to be. So I've got, my folders here. Let's lock it. Oh, I'm still synchronizing the vlog footage. I know where all my folders are, right? And I can pop in here and I know exactly, okay, that's where weather is. So I can go boom, boom, as opposed to go scroll and look, where is it? It was somewhere, okay, so I'm in the AB. It takes too long. I mean, not to say that it takes a horrible amount of time, it just takes too long. And that you can, mind you, organize your apps into folders on the quote-unquote desktop, right? On the screens, right? So I would have to go that far in order to adjust myself and wrap myself around the Pixel experience. So that's a problem. When you have to wrap yourself around the experience, that's where it feels like sand in the Vaseline, quite honestly. A fly in the ointment, if you will. And I could do it. I could bear with it if honestly, all things being considered, if I could mitigate these other pieces, I could use the Pixel minus the lag. That's a big if, huge if, because the 6 Pro it never improved, So I'm hoping that that will be enough that it'll be, at least less jarring than the Pixel experience has been. Software shortcomings notwithstanding. I mean, general software, experience, with Android 12 didn't win me over. So that's the thing. So then I'm starting to mentally do this checklist, right? Of like, yeah, but, and there's a lot of yeah, buts. There's too many yeah, buts. Beyond just the big butts. I don't like big butts, and I cannot lie. All right, just gotta be very clear about that. But if they fix the issues as I perceive them, right? If they allow for more customization of the launcher, or if Google fixed third-party launcher integrations. One example of where it's broken: if you open up a third-party launcher and do task switching, the screen will flash. It'll flash. It doesn't do that with a first-party launcher, at least on the Pixel, certainly. The screen will flash. What? when you're doing tasks. What? Huh? So it introduces an anomaly. That's concerning. It's upsetting to me, quite honestly. So they'd have to, at this point, mitigate a lot for me to consider the Pixel again. And I love the fact that the cameras are nice. They look like they're solid upgrades. I'll be running them through their paces, comparing the Pixel camera against the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, which is now a little mature, right? 6 months old or so. Or a little over 6 months, and against the Apple iPhone. And then the good news is fall really hasn't hit the Pacific Northwest yet. So all the trees, the leaves haven't necessarily all started changing colors yet. Great to see the tech channel back. Thank you, the James. Missed the red curtains, cozy den with a clock display, and listening to your thoughts on tech products. Well, feel free to ask questions. That's what I'd be happy to dive into. After using the Pixel 6a for testing purposes, I have to say I'm not really a fan of the Pixel launcher anymore, which I never thought I would ever say. Well, Savensky, I didn't like it after being used to Action Launcher. Pixel Launcher was just so beyond watered down. And I understand making things simple. I do. I genuinely do. But no. I wish that there was a toggle for that. Like, let me organize my launcher. Let me do that. And I understand why they don't want to have that for everybody. But at the same time, I believe, and maybe this is the wrong thing to say, but I believe Google doesn't think that power users are their users. I think they think the normal users are their users. I genuinely do. They've got some power user features, certainly, absolutely. There's some things in there, man, like the speech to text, so whipping, blazing fast, amazing. The camera quality, or I guess the output, has typically been to my liking. I was not impressed with the Pixel 6 Pro camera. You might remember last year, not impressed at all, which was shocking. I found the Pixel 4 XL seemingly did better in some shots than did the Pixel 6 Pro. It was shocking to me. Shocking. But that pushed me even further away from the Pixel. I was like, I just can't. There's too many yeah buts. Way too many yeah buts. I don't think they're building the Pixel products for power users. I just don't. They're not using the quote unquote latest and greatest, right? They're not trying to, do bleeding edge things. Their features are reasonable, but even their watch is very simple, exceedingly simple. I'm not going to say deceptively simple, but it's just simple. And I don't know if that's something that a power user would want. Even someone who would pride themselves on a cleaner software experience, I'm not so sure that Google has provided that cleaner software experience for at least 2 generations now. I'm not talking about the hardware. I'm not. Because I don't genuinely care, apart from, speed bumps and improvements, all around. But like the software experience, right? What does it actually run like? What does it feel like? What does it do? I'm not holding out hope. Much like I stopped holding out hope for iOS until we have a product manager at the helm at Apple, or someone with those product sensibilities. And again, these are all my opinions, right? They're all my perspectives. I still buy the products. I still buy. Vote with your feet. Vote with your money. I bought an iPhone. I've got the Pixel on a pre-order. So, but I'm just telling you, these are just judgment calls. These are opinions. 100%, 110%, always personal opinions. I just don't think the Pixel are for power users, which they could fix. Here's how they could fix it. Release a power user tool for the Pixel. Release a good lock for the Pixel that allows you to turn off the nav bar, that allows you to customize the launcher, that allows you to do this, that, and the other thing that average users aren't going to do. So let the average user have their experience, but let the power user have their experience. They're toggles. Like, I don't understand. But here's the thing. People aren't buying Pixels. I'm sure they're doing better than they used to, but people generally aren't buying Pixels. So they're trying to appeal to a larger audience. Well, so they're trying to appeal to a larger audience who's already satisfied with another product, clearly, or potentially, by the numbers. This is the data, right? I'm not saying that they wouldn't be happier with the Pixel, because honestly, I would say a lot of people who've been accustomed to Android would probably be happier with a Pixel. I have zero reservations in recommending a Pixel. I also have zero reservations recommending an iPhone, depending on the user. I'm not going to make a blanket statement. That's the thing. For my parents, I'm like, yeah, get the iPhone, get the new one, get the Pro with the dynamic island because it's much better than the notch. I would say that to my parents. To someone like my wife, I'd say, yeah, you stick with the Pixel because I think everything else doesn't work as well for you as the Pixel does. So but that does not necessarily mean that it's for me, right? Sorry for bumping the table there. Am I sure this is decaf? I take these approaches in a calculated way, right? It's difficult to say, because I'm not a part of the, internal processes, but, at Google, it just seems they're interested in the normies, but the normies may not be interested in the Pixel. I don't think they'll ever give the Pixel a chance. They haven't, and I don't know what it's going to take. And I don't think lowering the budget's going to help. I don't think the 6As or the A series is necessarily going to help either. So they're not enabling the power users, and they're not winning over the normies. So where... That's what has me concerned about the future of the Pixel. So, anyway, that's my feeling. Moving on to the next question. Thank you for asking. Thank you for popping in. And again, turning on those notifications. It's very helpful, especially when I upload a video. Watch the video all the way because trust me, for a creator, it means a lot. And let me know too, right? The kind of videos you want from this channel, obviously tech, but like I'm just kind of sometimes saying, okay, I'd like to talk about this. We haven't covered that. I'd like to talk about this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I can't read everybody's mind, so I appreciate the feedback. For some reason on my 6A, Chrome doesn't work hardly at all. Every search just goes to a blank screen. Oh, that's not good. I don't use Chrome as much on Android though. I use Samsung Internet Browser. I did upload a video about that too. Samsung Internet Browser on Android is in many ways better than Google Chrome. Not in every way. The Taterful asks, what are my thoughts on the M1, M2 chips? Do I still use macOS? Yes, I love macOS. I love the software. It is clean. It is designed to be aesthetically pleasing to my eye. It is the only thing I can really use without feeling like I don't like the interface. In Windows 11, just talked about it. Just upload that video, my review, the things that I love about Windows 11. Windows 11 is going to get there. It's not there yet, for me. Some people are less picky. Me, I am so picky. And so I cannot wait for Windows 11 to be spit and polished, cleaned up, through and through. We got a long way to go. Hopefully, I know in another 3 years it's going to be better. The question is how much better will it be in 3 years? I don't know. How much cruft and how quickly they're going to remove that cruft. So until then, I will continue to use macOS as my personal choice for a platform. In terms of the chips, they're fast. I tend not to geek out on the specs, not being a hardware guy. They're fast. They're what Apple needed for Apple. I'm still glad to hear that Thunderbolt's a part of the Mac. Ahmed Nabil asks, don't you think that One UI animations are sluggish and jumpy compared to the smooth Pixel experience? Ahmed, yes and no. Yes, because Samsung screws with animations. And I guess they messed with them again with One UI. I haven't tried the beta for One UI 5. Have you? Curious to know what you think. I wish Samsung wouldn't screw with the animations. I know they have to because of customization, but I just wish they would just make them consistent and fast. And allegedly, they got faster with One UI 5. Allegedly. But I haven't tried it yet. Couldn't tell you. Because the pixel animations are definitely fast. Now, yes and no. Because I feel they're smooth enough, but I ramp up all animations and transitions to 0.5. So I basically do like double speed. So I see the difference. Like when I'm using a Pixel, I'm like, wow, that's a fast train. Wow, I'm able to whip around on the Pixel. In the Samsung, maybe at least not a hair slower, a hair more elegant, I'll say. But you know, I don't want to step down to 0. I don't want to turn off the animations or transitions. But that's as close as I can get to mitigating. And every once in a while, you'll find an animation on the Samsung device that doesn't adhere to that system policy setting. I hope that Samsung makes it more consistent moving on. But I don't find them sluggish after I tweak the speed. How long do I think under-screen cameras will be good enough to get rid of notches, punch holes, bezels completely? Considering how long it's taken every manufacturer to upgrade their selfie camera, we may be a ways off before that happens. I would imagine that Apple would be the first to make this move. Maybe not. Maybe it'd be Samsung. Maybe it'd be a third party. I mean, I'm sure there are phones out there. Has to be a phone out there that has an under-screen camera. I don't pay attention as much as y'all do, but in terms of flagships, they don't exist. It's the question of being able to rival or improve that which is already out there for a flagship. Or maybe it's a trade-off. Maybe it's like, well, this is it, and you get a lower quality, but you also don't get the cutout. And the cutout doesn't bother me that much. Running, like, mostly on my phone at least, everything that I have is everything. Like, from the wallpaper on is basically black. So I don't see the cutout. Rarely. I do. There are some apps that unfortunately still use the old title bar, or the background of the title bar, which is just bizarre to me. But I feel that, we're probably a good 5 years away. It'll happen. The question I have is whether or not they do it after the image quality improves over previous generation, or they make the trade-off and say, hey, it's it's a lesser quality, which I would not be happy with, but you don't get the cutout. I'd rather have higher quality with a cutout than a lower quality without a cutout. And I don't know when that's going to be. Maybe it's a matter of, honestly, probably everybody improving their software, computational photography, and moving it to a point where they can mitigate any shortcomings of having that under the glass, if you will, and making the experience work that way. That's probably what it's going to take. We'll be there. 5, 10 years, absolutely 10 years. I'd be shocked if 10 years we were still dealing with cutouts. Swavensky, the other day I was trying to put a widget on my screen, wouldn't let me put it in the top corner where I wanted it because the weather thing was there, which I could not turn off. Oh, yeah. No, that's the... I'm sorry. I'm using the... Well, give me a second. I'll unplug my Pixel because I guess you're not looking at my printer like I am. That's usually the thing that I have going on in the MakerDeck feed. Well, there used to be at a glance. Turn off at a glance in your Pixel settings. At a glance. Where is it? At a glance. Can you turn it all off? Well, maybe you can't. I thought that was at a glance. No? At a glance on? Oh, there we go. Turn off at a glance. I was going into customization, but I didn't realize I'd tap over there to turn it on. So you can turn it off from there, or then customize it. So that's what you'd need to do to toggle that. And then you're set. Jay Perez just returned a 13 Pro, using it besides a Pixel 5a and SE 2022, highlighted just how messy iOS is still. It does fall into place better on smaller screens, coupled with Touch ID. Camera overprocessed mess. Dude, Jay Perez, that's exactly what I was saying. I don't know if you saw my recent video shootout between the S22 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but it's still terribly overprocessed. Terribly. In my opinion, to my eyes, and I'm clearly not alone, hardware just shows you what it's capable of doing, says ToonGeek45. Software, sorry, it scrolled out of my view. Software did something. Tells you what it does. Yes, that is true, ToonGeek. James1576, is true YouTube now only going to offer 4K video viewing on premium accounts? If so, what are your thoughts on that? It's a good question, James. So I saw this, and I would say this is largely a non-issue for me. And I'm not saying that it's not an issue for you. Like, it not being a problem for me may not be this one for you. The day that YouTube launched Red, it used to be called YouTube Red, for like $10 a month, no ads on YouTube, and other features that whatever. But like $10 a month, I get no ads on YouTube. It's like on Twitch. What is it, $9 a month for Twitch Turbo? No ads? So I tend to be the person that doesn't complain about ads because I will pay not to see them if they annoy me. So it doesn't bother me. So I'm already in the program. So for them to say we're only going to offer 4K to the people who are at premium, I'm already at premium, so it doesn't bug me at all. I'm not seeing any ads. So my question to you then, and I understand it, some people have limited budget. Is it worth what is it, $10 a month to not have any ads, but still support those creators, as well as 4K? Is it worth it to you? To me, I don't know. If I wasn't already paying for it and it wasn't justified, I don't think 4K would be enough to get me to upgrade. Mind you, I've got a 4K TV. I don't watch YouTube on it a lot. I've certainly got the ability to watch 4K video on my desktop, but I don't know if I could necessarily tell the difference because the video that I'm watching, it does. I guess I'm not that. I mean, I've got eyes, but I'm not that much of a cinephile. Can I use that in this context? A videophile? I'm an MP4. I'm a videophile. As much as other people are. Don't get me wrong, higher resolution the better, absolutely, for sure. But 1080p is fine for me. I know. Can you believe I actually admitted that? I'm the only person who may admit that, but So, if you want the feature, pay for it. If not, don't. I don't think that, people are going to leave YouTube because of it. They may be upset, but, I mean, you got to make your own decision. Mind you, I tend to support creators when I can, where I can. And certainly when monetization's on in this channel, I would appreciate the super thanks, the super chats, the subs, the joining as members. I'm even thinking about relaunching the Patreon campaign to build coffers to get the devices, the new devices that they come out. The next one that I want to get, I think, is going to be the OnePlus. No, the Pixel's coming. Budget. OnePlus, budget. Samsung, budget. So, the more I can offset those device costs, probably the more devices I'd be able to pick up, to be able to talk about, to be able to, share the experiences with. So, I'm thinking about retooling the Patreon campaign. And then, of course, with monetization eventually turned on in this channel, being able to do the same thing here. So, if you're willing to support your favorite creators, if you're willing to buy the things that you want, to me, I'm not saying it's a non-issue, but if YouTube feels like it's going to get more conversions, I don't think you're going to be annoyed for spending $10 a month to get what you want and to have no ads on YouTube. But that's my perspective. I realize it may not be the right thing to say, but YouTube's going to YouTube. I wish the Microsoft Duo was actually good because I love design and the thing would be best for productivity without sacrificing build quality like the Folds. Yes, Swavensky, I have no experience with either. I've seen all of them at a distance. I probably, if I had a choice, would prefer the Fold over the Duo. I find that the dual screen that has the divider in the middle just is not a very clean experience, at least a seamless, a seamless fold, that seamless, not transition, but it's all contiguous. This display is far more reasonable to me. And so the Duo just never, I was not compelled to go, oh yeah, that's the thing I want. Would I try one? Sure. Have I been compelled to try one? Not necessarily, because it's not within my budget. I don't have the budget for everything. Jay Perez found the older Pixel 5a and Android simpler and easier to manage. I've been saying this for years, Jay Perez. Photo quality surpassed the 13 Pro amazingly enough. That, again, does not surprise me. The Pixel camera, I felt the Pixel 4 XL, which is really close to the 5, in the 5 series, I feel it schooled the 13 Pro, or 13 Pro Max. I feel it schooled. In fact, that video is not in this channel, because this channel is brand new, but in the other, now vloggy channel. Tried Apple's RAW 2 process, not true RA2, sadly. See, I don't mess with RAW. Apple's RAW is probably what I would shoot with, though. If I had, if I was using the iPhone for photos. And then shrinking it down, because that's a lot of space. Watch with Wayne. Hey, how you doing over here? Good to see ya. Watch with Wayne and I both stream on Twitch, too. What is my favorite gadget of the 90s? The 90s? I didn't really have a lot of gadgets. I mean, I had a Palm Pilot. I had a Palm... the Palm 7. Was it the 7? Palm 7. Palm 7X? The one that had the antenna and modem. That was probably my favorite, because it was the first time ever, I was able to flip up the antenna on the Palm 7, and I remember using it, but I remember specifically being in an airport and using it and getting email while not at my desk. Like, that was incredible to me. That was incredible. That would have been late 90s. Palm 7, Palm 7X. I had the 5 or the 5X. I can't remember now. 7 though. I remember it had 7 in it, and then the antenna that flipped up. I don't have it anymore. I wouldn't know what to do with it because it's worthless. Do I think the 14 Plus is a cash grab by Apple? Okay, I'm going to stop you there. No, it's not a cash grab. Since it's using last year's specs, or do you think it's actually a good deal for people who want a big screen iPhone? I don't think it's a cash grab. I think they're able to reuse parts and components, costs. It's a big deal. Where they can save costs, they can and should. I mean, it's a company, right? And quite honestly, maybe some people don't want to spend as much to get the latest flagship, but they want to feel like they're getting a little bump, or maybe they're moving from an iPhone 6 but they don't want the Pro. They just need, they don't want the Pro or the Pro Max. They just want, a Plus, but they're moving from, let's say, a 6 or an 8. To jump to a 14 Plus is a bigger jump. So don't think of it like year over year, right? I think it's not a great upgrade from a 13 Plus to a 14 Plus. I don't think that upgrade's warranted. I definitely don't think it's warranted to go from a Pro or a Pro Max to a 14 Plus. That's definitely not. That is, to me, a step backwards. But they're reusing, right? This is not new. I would imagine. They're using the old components. But you have to consider that not everybody upgrades generation after generation. So I do think it's a good deal, depending on how you're upgrading, for the most part. You did see and like the Windows 11 video? Thank you, the Taterful. Did you like my 3D printing short? The next one's going to go up tomorrow morning. I'm hoping it works. YouTube seems to do better for me than TikTok. I'm on TikTok too. I'm going to say, kind of like, not Timbuktu, TikTok too. I think, give me a second. I think I can show you there we go. Yeah, here's my QR code. You can follow me. Share my QR code. There we go. Follow me on TikTok. If you want. Is it scan? Now I gotta know after holding it up if it scans. Please someone tell me if it scanned. Instagram works well. Instagram works better for me than TikTok. YouTube Shorts have worked better for me than TikTok. Twitter, well, it doesn't remember, it's Twitter. But yeah, TikTok for some reason. The Z Fold 4 already has the under screen camera. But we're not quite at flagship yet for under screen cameras. That's what I'm saying. I guess to reiterate or to clarify what I was saying. Because, like I said, I know there are devices out there that have it under the screen. I don't pay as much attention to them. Mitch Crane, hey, did you hear? Frasier is getting a sequel. There's going to be a Frasier sequel. Paramount Plus made the order, Mitch Crane. Hope Maris is doing well. Actually, Maris is out of here. Hope Daphne is doing well. You like the iPhone? Way of dealing with the island? Yeah, the island's nice. It is nice. I'll say that. Would you prefer Samsung to buy Android from Google and take over? Ahmed, I'm not saying it could happen, but I don't think they'd buy Android. I'm not saying that Google would ever get out of that game, but Samsung is definitely taking a tighter role with the direction of Android for sure. Whether we're talking Wear OS or we're talking like the tablet experience, Samsung's been doing a better job leaning into overarching software experiences, in my humble opinion, than Google, by far. I don't know if I'd prefer Samsung to buy Android from Google, though. I don't know if I'd go that far. Did you face any ads on your One UI? Some reported they face ad banners and notifications in Samsung default apps, which is unacceptable and cheap. I have not, at least not in recent generations. I don't use a lot of the default apps. The only one, maybe the store app, kind of has ads, but it's a store app, so they're trying to do that. The weather app, they eliminated the ads from. I don't get any push notifications that have ads in them, or at least I can't remember any. I did have a Nexus 5X J Perez. That was a pinnacle photo quality. I don't know if I'd say pinnacle. To me, I would say the Pixel 4 XL was a champion. We'll see how the 7 works, though. Oh, I would love to see a Windows Phone. Sławensky, I'm not joking. I mean, I've said this, you know, Microsoft, I think, is going all in on Android, which is fine. You know, they conceded the race, but I'd still love to see something from Microsoft on the mobile front. I would still love to see it. I wouldn't call it Windows Phone. I don't know what I would call it, but I wouldn't call it Windows Phone. That is come and gone. I wouldn't call it Pocket PC anymore either. But I'd still like to see Microsoft do something. I genuinely would, for more competition. They tried, right? It was just the timing was off. It was poor timing altogether. You know, but we've got, you know, at least Microsoft better playing ball with Android. I mean, you've got now the experience of I won't be able to get there. Dang it. I had a package show up. That annoys me, because I can't. My Diana and Jedi are at a birthday party, so I can't go get to the mail. You know, I'm looking forward to even better performance with the Android framework baked into Windows. But even despite having that, right, the Android being able to run an Android app on the desktop, I haven't. I have no need. I don't use Windows, though, as my go-to. But even I feel Microsoft's done a better job with Android on the Windows desktop than Apple's done with iOS on the desktop. And mind you, Apple controls everything. Everything, stem to stern. Yet Microsoft, I feel, has done a better job with Android on Windows. For sure. Like, zero doubt. But it's the rest of the operating system kind of like, I just need it to be a little more clean. Okay, a lot more clean. I feel that Windows 11 is like 10% of where it needs to be. And I'm hoping that next year, like this time next year, it'll be 20%. And then the year after that, maybe 30. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. Just clean it up. I was so disappointed when I finally had a chance to try the new Windows rollout with the tabbed Explorer interface. All it was they wrapped the old, rather dated, kind of crappy Windows Explorer in this tabbed experience. I'm like, this is not good. Why? No. So, that was kind of sad. That was kind of disappointing to me. But maybe they'll fix Explorer at some point. Maybe. I don't know. That's not me. It's not on me. If I worked at Microsoft, I'd be like, hey, who do I talk to fix the Explorer? Who do I talk to? Him? All right. Her? Okay. Scrolling through the chat here, I don't want to miss anything. Or if I do, please please accept my apology. Do I think buying Pixel 5 now would be a good purchase, especially with the current price? I don't know what the current price is, but a Pixel device, yeah. I mean, 5 is going to almost be out of, software support soon, because it's a 3-year with Google. That's why the Pixel 4 XL is like, it's sunset. But the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro are getting 5 years, much like Samsung. So Google's actually stepping up their game with the software for that. I would say, I honestly, I would probably push you more to a 6 over a 5. I mean, unless you can get one super, super, super cheap and you want to play with the Pixel. If it's a knockaround, yeah, spend as little as possible. Get a refurb. I have no problem buying refurbs. Bought a refurb Chromebook for Diana. She likes it. I haven't done a video on that yet, but I planned on it. Because someone was asking what I thought about, Chromebooks. What's the best Chromebook? And I'm like, well, there's a lot of them. What do I think about the BlackBerry Priv? It's too old now to use, but really like the concept. I couldn't even remember it, Sławensky, so I don't know. Never had a BlackBerry. Never wanted one. You can barely notice the difference between Apple's RAW and JPEGs on the 13 Pro. Apparently, they still apply the same custom processing after the fact. I could on the 14 Pro Max, because I took the RAW, the unprocessed, the ProRes, whatever toggle is. Hang on. Sorry for brushing the mic again. This thing. Yes. No, I don't want that. RAW. The RAW image. I can tell you that in shooting with RAW, I found like a much better level of detail when I zoomed in. I had to wait for everything to kind of load. It's still overprocessed and crunchy. It is, but I felt like it was a better experience for me in taking a picture, from across the way and getting a high resolution image. Let me see if this will work any better, or at least once it worked better at one time. Whether or not it will again, I don't know. Yeah, it's still a little crunchy to me, like in terms of processing. And mind you, I don't think Samsung's nailed raw processing either. Their app goes a long way, but it's still. I'm not a pro photographer, so I'm probably the last person to judge it. I remember the Palm Pre, never had it though, but I remember WebOS. It was sunset way too soon. Big Fan says, list of issues for iPhone 14, 14 Pro buyers keeps getting longer following iMessage and FaceTime activation errors, CarPlay and data migration bugs, and random reboots. Haven't heard too much pushback, though, honestly. Big fan. What did I think about the Super Mario trailer? Zero scripts. I actually did a reaction on Twitter about that. I can pull up the link. Got the iPhone 14 Pro. You did? Yeah? No bugs so far. Well, maybe no bugs, but you have the same glitches I do. Yeah, you have the same iOS problems that I do. You just may not see them, which you are blessed, Leo Gaming, if you don't see the same problems that I do. But they're still there. They're still there. Trust me. That's how iOS works. Thoughts on the smartphones that we can't buy in North America? I have no thoughts because we can't buy them in North America. Oh, Rico Man, your Pixel 7 Pro and Watch are arriving by Monday. Wow, nice. Let me check my mail. Hang on. Oh, no. I was like, I got an email too. But you want to know what this silly email was? Y'all wanted to see this is the email I got. It was a notification saying I'm live. And I don't need that. I want to find out when I'm getting my 7. When I get it, yes, I will be doing a fun boxing in this channel. They could call it the Microsoft Advanced Calculator. Yeah, they should. That makes phone calls. There you go, Mike. That sounds like a very Microsoft thing to say. Microsoft was one of the only companies with the money and resources to actually compete with Apple and Android. I just don't get why they didn't try harder. Don't try harder when they have Windows Phone. It was great. I agree. I liked the Metro interface a lot. I would not put it past Microsoft to try something at some point. They just have to have their battle plan, right? They got to know what is going to work. They got to know who their partners are. They got to have all that stuff lined up way ahead of time. And I would say the Surface phone. Call it a Surface and give it a platform. The problem is that people want their apps to run on those platforms. So you got to get all those developers to port over. So how are you going to do that? And maybe that's the foundation that they're laying with Android support in Windows, right? I'm not saying that they should be porting over Android apps because generally speaking, that just is a nightmare. But you'd have to get your big apps to basically play ball. And that means spending a lot of money on those developers, or making it easier for them to translate their code from one platform to the other, which doesn't always happen, or certainly not directly. But let's say for example, it was cheap, and they would have to basically give the phones away, because no one's going to pay for a phone that doesn't have the app support, honestly, especially a new one. So they'd have to give them away, or work some other kind of campaign. Didn't Apple stop having M1 Max from downloading iOS apps? No, they still, you can still do iOS apps. Oh, you upgraded to the new Windows 11 update? I've been waiting on my on this machine. There's apparently there's a conflict on this machine that it says you can't update yet. I'm like, okay. Not that there was like a ton of things that I wanted, but hey, it's Burrs Ray from Twitch. Good to see you. No worries about not being around. You just became a dad. Congratulations. Congratulations. Hey, man, never apologize for missing out on other people's lives. You pay attention to your life, man. Honestly, I'll be here. I will always be here somewhere. I'm glad you were able to find the new tech channel, though. Dre King James asks if I have the Elgato Steam Deck. Wait, the Elgato Stream. There's the Steam Deck and the Stream Deck. I do. I just don't use it. I probably could and should. It's just finding room for it, finding space for it. A little challenging here on the desk now that I have a 3D printer. I could probably figure out how to get it done, but maybe in another round of upgrades. Oh, the UK's getting it early. Nice, Rico Man. Cannot wait to see some sample photos. Can't wait to hear people say it's got far less lag, if they do. Do I think that Instagram stories and Twitter scrolling got better on One UI over Pixel? Yes. Well, I don't know about stories on I don't really browse stories. I can tell you that there is lag if I swipe over. Let's see here. So if I swipe over and then swipe up. Wait, no, that's the story. I have to create content. Give me a second. Like, here. Boop. Okay. No, so I got that shot, and then if I swipe up, there's always lag in Instagram. The first time I slide that up, there's lag. It's bad. That's always bad. And I wouldn't say that's any different on the Pixel. Let's find out. It may be better, it may be worse. Let's see here, guys. So I got to do alphabetical order, Instagram, swipe over, take a picture. Really bad. Yeah. So it's an Android thing. Really bad. Really nasty. So that's an Instagram problem. I don't think it's an Android problem. At least that particular menu. They need to optimize or better optimize. But Twitter scrolling, I will say, is demonstrably better on One UI on a Samsung device by comparison. Easily better. Easily better. Different kind of, like, the judder, the way that One UI handles judder is different. And I didn't realize this until I experienced it, but, like, in other apps, what'll happen is it'll scroll, but it'll drop frames as it's scrolling, right? On Samsung, what'll happen very often is you won't get dropped frames necessarily, but what you get is like a weird little bounce, like it's a bounce. So to me, it handles that kind of lag a little better, just slightly. It's a bounce, but Twitter lag is bad no matter what. iOS somewhat better. But Android, it's still not there. Maybe a faster processor will help somewhat, but I think what it boils down to, unfortunately, is just getting Twitter to play ball and to optimize their app, which they haven't done. I don't think Twitter, I mean, maybe they care. We got to get Elon Musk on this. That's what we need. Do I think with all the issues they have had with Android on the Surface Duo, they're gearing that phone up to run a new version of Windows Phone? I don't know. Slovensky, it would be interesting. I don't know if people want to run Windows in their pocket. I mean, you've got the Steam Deck. I don't know. That's not really pocketable, though. Just upgraded the 12th gen Intel chip. Awesome. Happy to hear that, Burzray. That's great. I don't have one yet. I'm still, this is Tiger Lake. I'm on 11th gen, the PC that's running this particular stream. Thoughts on Elon Musk buying Twitter? Yes. I actually recorded those thoughts. They'll be shared in this channel here in the near future. Disc 1 of 5. Good to see you. What are you upgrading from going to the Pixel 7? 7 or the 7 Pro? Curious to know. Duff's Vids asks, you just got here. Good to see you, Duffs. How useful the dynamic island has been. I've not given a lot of screen time to the iPhone after getting it set up and running tests. I mean, it is, still connected and using it as a camera. But I've always been very pleasantly surprised at how well the dynamic island has worked for me. So I have not had a bad experience. I'll say this. I have not had a bad experience with it, Duffs. So I look forward to more integration. Oh, the Pixel 5. Okay. That should be a decent upgrade then. I'm hoping it's going to be a really good upgrade from the 6 Pro, because I don't know. The 5 was not, the 6 Pro was not a good upgrade over the 5. I can tell you that. It was not a good upgrade over the 4XL, minus the Face ID or whatever they call it, the face recognition thing in the 4XL, which never really worked all that well. Sean says my dog wants to play. Hey, awesome. Glad you can get a dog. Diana won't let me. Ahmed Nabil asks, do I think that the One UI default apps became better than stock? Yes and no. I mean, I have vacillated between the two, but honestly, I've fallen back to using, if I use an app, right, like contacts, I'll use the Samsung app. Phone, I'm using the Samsung app. I'm using the Samsung apps if there is an equivalent over the Google apps, for the most part. Like, there are certain things like Notes I don't use all that often. Not really a notes user as much as other people are. But I'm fine with Keep, because anytime I need to get to something from the desktop, I can't use a Samsung app. Like, so Messages, there's one example. I can't use Messages on the desktop, the Samsung Messages app. So that would be the one caveat I would throw in there. Oh, nice, Wavensky. Glad to hear it. I will tell my friends at Intel. When is the genius of Silicon Valley going to make flying cars like Back to the Future 2? That is a great question. 13 Gen coming soon? Yes. I'll be interested in seeing how it stacks up as well. I would like to upgrade to, the PC that I'm running here, I'm running an Intel NUC. I've been transparent about that. I do work for Intel. Can't tell you what I'm working on right now. But I've got a NUC that runs this stream. Very happy with it. But I would love to get a newer machine. I would love to upgrade. I'd love to now jump to, I would now love to jump directly to 13th Gen. And I have debated getting in and actually doing a custom build PC and going Intel all the way. ARC graphics, all the way. Like, completely, utterly. Going no NVIDIA, no AMD, everything Intel. Building out a complete Intel system. But I don't have a lot of space, right? So then I've got to figure out, well, what's the budget, right? What am I going to throw? How much is it going to cost, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I may reach out to a PC builder or two to see if that's even possible. Exchange on Android is garbage. Oh, you mean Outlook? I don't like Outlook on Android. I don't like Outlook on iOS. Hopefully they're getting better now, but they're not that great. If you're looking for an Exchange client alternative, try 9. Although that company also made a new one that's got a subscription service tied to it that I'm like, what? I'm not going to pay for that. I've already paid for 9. 9, as long as it continues to work, is great. 9. That's N-I-N-E on Android. Trust me. It was the only way I was able to use email on Android in general. But I haven't tried the new one that they rolled out. It was just kind of still new, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll wait a year or two and then buy into it. Let them work out the kinks. Because I don't know if 9's going to continue to be updated, unfortunately. That's the thing when they release a new one that you don't like. I'm like, oh, man. Rudra asks, hey, Chris, any thoughts on crypto and related tech? Yeah, it's crashing and burning. I was a big, I believe in the promise of a future that looks different, but I don't think crypto was it, or at least the way it was currently. I don't think blockchain is everything that people make it out to be, and I've always felt that NFTs, the way that they were pitched, just did not add up. Like, I was not a fan of the idea. I'm a fan of the idea, maybe not a fan of the execution. We're going that direction, but yeah, I had to mute the word NFT from my timeline on Twitter. Had to mute it entirely. Crypto, I didn't mute, although I came close. Because honestly, a lot of that has cooled off. A lot has cooled off. And I'm grateful, because I'm just like, dude, I'm so burnt on this. I don't care. Don't care. So generally, I don't care. I have no perspective on it. Is it the future? Yes. Should we be building towards it? Absolutely. Is it something that I'm interested in? No, not necessarily, not directly. The metaverse is interesting. I'm interested in that and how all these technologies play in. I am interested. Although it was interesting, speaking of interesting, Facebook is apparently going to be trying to force their employees to use it until they like it. Their metaverse product. Like, okay. I don't know if that's the way it should work, but all right. That'll be fun if we ever get to a point where that works. Especially when we've got these virtual avatars that we can wear on our face. The future's fun to think about. The metaverse is not, the idea of the metaverse has yet to take hold, though, so that's still very nebulous. Just like a lot of the people who've purchased in or bought into the idea of crypto some have made money, some have lost money. Same thing with NFT. Some have made money, some have lost money, and I've just been sitting on the sidelines of the whole thing going, well, I'm going to wait and see. You just got a new ARCs, or an ARC, was that, hang on, you got the 770 for fun? Nice, Wavensky. Is ARC graphics for Linux going to be a part of the Linux kernel like AMD does? I don't have a direct line to the team anymore, but if you asked on Twitter, Intel Graphics would probably respond or should, or I'll make them for sure. Ahmed asks or says, Apple became so comfortable and lazy with fixing iOS and Android third-party apps are lower quality than iOS for some reason. It looked like we need a third competitor. Well, I agree on Apple becoming a bit complacent with design. I feel that Samsung has done a better job with Android execution than Google in terms of design. I wouldn't say that Android third-party apps are lower quality, though, necessarily. I wouldn't go that far. At least not, that hasn't been my experience. In some cases, it's been just the opposite. If only for scrolling. iPro, I talked about this in a video the other day. My go-to is currently a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. In regards to RAM, will having 16 gigabytes suffice in a PC gaming or 32? Oh, okay. Always go with as much as you can afford. I'll say that. Could I tell you specifically, yes, 16 will suffice? I don't know what you're playing. All I'm saying is no one ever said I had too much RAM. Nobody's ever complained about that, unless you bought too much, right? But even then, your system's going to be able to figure out what to do with it. So I say get as much as you can afford. And if you can afford 32, get 32. I make no money off that referral. Facebook forces their employees to use Metaverse. It'll double the number of people using it. Yeah, well, you never know. I'm interested. I'm interested in what it is and what it promises to be. I'm interested in all the underlying technologies and what they may mean. But where we are today, I'm just not. Yeah, I've been pretty clear on my position for a while. Mr. Pissy Pants, I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Wish for the day where we don't need monitors, just use augmented reality as monitors. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, Disc 105. It'd be fun. Maybe it'll happen in my life, hopefully before I die. If it does happen, I hope it happens before I die. And I've got just a few more years in me. Did I find the Nintendo Switch innovative when it came out? I'm not really a gamer, Khalil. I wouldn't say innovative, but for the people who love Nintendo games, for sure. The people who love portability, absolutely. Devon, you can't do a hype train here. It's Twitch. I'm not even monetized yet. I am going to start wrapping up, though, because we've been about an hour. And so, my goal has always been, in doing these videos on the weekend, just try to shoot for an hour. It feels like it's, good amount of time for a talky podcast kind of thing. If you're looking to crypto, this is according to, I keep saying Swavensky, but let me read it again. Swavensky. Okay, I'm saying it right. If you look into crypto, I don't actually think that it's the way of the future. Too many issues can arise, especially because the price would need to be fixed. Also, AR over VR any day. Oh yeah, no, I'm an AR fan. Can't do VR. I will not use technology that makes me throw up. That gives me a headache. That turns my stomach. Cannot. Will not. Won't. But I'm a huge fan of AR. Bullish on AR, actually. You're swapping to a Fold 4 from a 14 Pro Max. Really, iPro? I'm curious. Why? I'm genuinely curious. You know what? I need to go in and try one. Here's the thing. I have a feeling, well, I don't know if I could downgrade my cameras all that much, but I wonder if I'd like it. I wonder if I'd like what I see in the Fold. But I got to try one. Nintendo Switch runs the NVIDIA Tegra X1 Plus. I think we were talking about something like this the other day on Twitch. The NVIDIA, what's the device that plugs into your, not the Apple TV, not the Roku, not the Google TV with Chromecast, the NVIDIA one, it's the Shield. I thought about upgrading my Google TV with Chromecast to the Shield, if only for a better performer in navigation. I don't know if it would be any smoother, but I thought about upgrading, spending the money, because I use the Google TV with Chromecast like every day. You have a good day. You have a good day too, Rigi. Sometimes reading usernames, man. You just canceled your Pixel 7 pre-order. So disappointed. So tired from iOS stupidity. But Twitter, Instagram, so many apps are performing better on iOS than Android, in my opinion. Well, in your perspective, that's fine. I have no problem in conceding that. There are certainly better experiences to be had in pockets. It's the question of the whole being greater than the sum of its parts, and recognizing what you can and cannot deal with, Ahmed. And there's no one answer. I'm not, sitting here saying that there are certain things that you look at and they're empirical. One thing is better than another. But, when you're talking a lot, when you're getting into the weeds, like that Instagram thing that I showed you, is it annoying? Yeah. But the thing is I don't do it all that often. So it doesn't, it's bothersome, but it's not catastrophic to me versus navigating the operating system, which I do all the time. And that's where I find myself happier with what Android does. No problem, Khalil. Happy to do it. uTorrent. Hey, man, I remember uTorrent. Used to be MuTorrent, right? Torrent. I haven't torrented anything in ages. What do I do for a living? Well, it used to be content. And then I realized I want to do something else. I want to try something else, like full-time. Had an opportunity to go to work for Intel. So now I currently work for Intel. Happy to do that. But I have other projects, too. Launched this Twitch channel, kind of like a side thing. Like, it just gives me a chance to get, put my opinions out there, which I still enjoy doing. People are asking for them more often than not. I do MakerDeck stuff. I wouldn't say that, that is necessarily my job, but MakerDeck is definitely something that could turn into a bigger project. I do want to continue to produce events. I wanted to be able to do a MakerDeck IRL for fellow makers and 3D printing enthusiasts, technology, and do that here in the Seattle area. I've also got another idea for a tech event, not unlike Gnome Decks used to be back in the day. That was really my first tech event that many people would not remember from way back when. I think the Wikipedia article still exists. That's the only thing that exists for Gnome Decks at this point. But I feel like I've got an idea for a tech event that I think could happen if I had the right partners. Have I ever recommended a keyboard? Currently in the market for one? Oh, I would recommend... Actually, I don't mind the Apple keyboard for the Mac at all. I really don't mind it at all. I've got a Razer Stormtrooper keyboard. I love it because it's got a Stormtrooper on it. So, and they also make this cute little Stormtrooper mouse. So those are my recommendations because Star Wars. I'm not really a keyboard buyer person, although there are mechanical keyboards that are going to have Arabesh. They did at one point have Arabesh, but when they do release a custom keyboard with Arabesh keys, I'd probably buy that. I think it'd be a wild thing to have Arabesh on my keyboard. But I've never really recommended one. Not really. I've used plenty, though. Let you know when the next tech event is. Oh, for sure, Disc 105, for sure. I'm not going to bring back Vlogger Fair, though. That ship has sailed, unfortunately. This would be pretty, not close to it, but the tech event that I would do it'd be different. And I've got after speaking at an event this past week, I was the token creator in a room full of marketers. I was like, this reminds me of an event I wanted to do that I sketched out in 2018. You got a Mandalorian popcorn popper from GameStop. Hopefully it works, Khalil. Hopefully you didn't spend a lot of money because I heard that they don't work that well, the Star Wars ones, which is why we don't have any. You're swapping for a Fold 4 because it eliminates the number of devices you have to carry. Fold 4 has some usability disadvantages of Google Split View is better. Plus, I like a large screen. Yeah, I feel like if they brought the Fold to flagship quality across the board, I could see myself carrying a Fold in like 2 or 3 years. But that I know of, the cameras are a step down. That I know of. Same speed to my knowledge. I'm also not sure about the software either. That's the thing that also kind of throws me off. Like, is the software going to be any better? Is it worse? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we've hit about an hour. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Thank you for turning on notifications. Seriously, turn on the bell icon. It means a lot. But when you do, if you watch the video, that helps. And when I say watch the video, don't just click it once and then just forget about it, because the problem is, I need to explain this to you. Subscribing to a channel only does the creator any good if you watch the videos. Because if you subscribe to a channel but you don't watch the videos, that actually hurts a creator. Seriously. If you subscribe to a channel but don't watch the videos and you don't watch them all the way through, the creator basically loses the biggest advantage they have in gaining a subscriber. So turn on the notifications if you're interested. Thank you for providing feedback. Thank you for asking questions. Happy to continue to answer them. I'm still on the path to monetization for this channel. Not quite halfway there, but chugga, 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 chugga. Rome was not rebuilt in a day. I'm glad that I made the decision to double down and have a channel that dedicated to tech for once. Because my old channel was just, it was never only tech. I know people say, oh, it was tech. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was a whole bunch of everything that I threw into one spot. So this is the first time that I've ever doubled down on tech. So thank you for asking questions. Thank you for watching the videos that I've been doing. Thank you for appreciating my style of doing videos, because I can only be me. Over time, if I'm able to build a team, the first person that I will hire is an editor to make things better, to make things tighter. We're not there yet, but it could happen. So thank you very, 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 very much for being here. I'll be back again next weekend live. I'm live every night on Twitch. You can feel free to follow me there. The link is in the video description. Of course, you follow me on Twitter and all the places. But thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. I'm going to end with answering one more question. Why do I think reviewers don't talk about iOS bugs and lags since almost a decade? They only mention how smooth it is. uTorrent, because I don't think they're being fair to the audience, and I don't think they're being fair to Apple. That's why. Because I don't know how you could see something and not say something. And you can't tell me you're a reviewer and not see that. If they see it, but don't say anything, it's disingenuous. If they see it, but it doesn't bother them, I still think they should say something. If they see something, but they don't think it's a problem, I think that's a bigger problem. But I'm not them. I'm not. You know, all I can say is if that's what you expect from your reviewers, demand that from your reviewers or find different reviewers to watch. Find the ones you may not like the way that I review something. Hey, man, there are plenty of people out there who are not me. I'm going to continue to be me. Period. End of story. And right now I got to go be me, but elsewhere in the house. Ooh, I got to check my 3D print. Okay. Oh, it's going well. Whew. I was like, I ignored it this whole time. And it's going well. I feel everything bridged okay. Whew. Oh, man. I could have flipped over into spaghetti there. All right, I love you. I appreciate you, but at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. Thanks for liking this video and watching all the videos that I post and following on social. Here we go. Oh, wait, I got to end the video. Y'all want me to do it? We'll see you later.